Can you really be excellent all the time when you don't even know what to do? Well, I'm going to talk you through a couple of ways, or one way, but with a couple of examples, personal examples of how I learnt to be different, to be more confident in a presentation, how to think deeper. But they're just mine. And I'm sure you've got loads of things that you would like to do and be better. So if that's important to you, have a listen after this. Hey, welcome to the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. So pleased you're here. Your time is valuable and precious. So what I would like to do is fill that time that you share with me with the most shiny golden nuggets to help improve your life, to get your goals, your wishes, your dreams to come to fruition quicker, bigger, better than you could ever imagine, using your imagination, using hypnosis, using NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, all of that, using all things of the mind. No brain hacks, but real solid processes to deconstruct what people do to become great. And then find the processes that we can install that in ourselves to support you in your dreams and get what you really want in life. Anyway, who am I? I'm Paul Clough, and just going to have conversations with you in this podcast and get you thinking, but also share those processes because we're going to have so much fun. That's it. We're going to have fun for a change because we can sit down for a spell and have more fun than we can stand, creating the world we want to live in and be the person we want to be in that world. The only limitation is your imagination. And you got bucket loads, by the way, bucket loads. Have a listen. You really must.
Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey friend, we're back with another longer podcast. And it's all about, excellence of a sort. And it's totally doable. But I want to tell you a story first. Because this was something that got me. And it's something I know and it's something I do and it's something I've been taught, but until you actually do it and something resonates with you, you don't really get it. And I really got it this time because I was at my trainer's training with all these other wonderful trainers, and one or two of us wannabe trainers. We're all there, and it's like 25 days worth of training on the run. I think we had 2 days off. And we were coming up to the certification presentation. You had to do a presentation. You had to tell everybody, or tell the people who were judging, as it were, the certification people, what you were going to say, how you were going to say it, what was the effect you wanted, how you're going to use the stage and all that stuff. And I was getting quite nervous. And I thought to myself, well, I need some confidence here because I really want this and I can't let it go. So what am I going to do? And there was an exercise we did just before that weekend, that last day. And it was a thing called perceptual positions. Whereas instead of just looking through your own eyes, you would actually go into somebody else, get a feeling for them. Or you just ask them questions. Imagine them in front of you. Ask them a question. So I thought to myself, who could give me the best advice? And I thought, well, this is all about NLP, neuro-linguistic program. Say that again, if you could. Neuro-linguistic programming. And I thought, well, the originator, or one of the co-originators, was Richard Bandler. And I thought to myself, well, who better to go to than the originator or co-originator, the guy who made all of this? But obviously he's not there because I wasn't his training. This was a different training. So I use this exercise to imagine him over there. And yeah, I sort of went into him a little bit, but didn't get very much. But I just stood there. And I said, okay, Mr. Bandler, Richard, I need confidence, but I need something. I've got this presentation. What are the words that you think I ought to hear? And he swears a lot. And I'm not going to say what he said, but he swore a lot in such a way of saying something like, you know your stuff. Just go do it. So all you have to do, know your stuff and just go do it. Have your intention. And I think that's where it keeps coming back to get that intention of what you want to do, how you want to do it. And just go do it. But he said it in his words. It's really strange because it was if he was just talking to me alone, even though I was doing an exercise with somebody else. They guided me through it. I did it and I got this. So I let it just go inside. And then I did the work I think I needed to do to make that presentation. Did my notes to give to the certifiers so they knew what I was doing and what I intended to do. Unfortunately, I didn't have that piece of paper with me so I could remember it. I just had to do it. And yeah, I was nervous because you're having to go, wait your turn, waiting with all the other trainers. You're going to present to the other trainers. And then you get up on this bloody great big stage. Just you. Just me, actually. Just me. And I said it, as I said, I was a wee bit nervous. But then I heard those words. You know your stuff. Basically, stop fucking around, just do it. And I did. I just did it. And I got brave. Because I could have fudged it a little bit, but no, I went the whole hog then. Because I told a story. But it was my story. It was my journey, my adventure of how I got here and what I was going to do and what I'd learn. To inspire, I wanted to inspire people. And I told a wonderful metaphor in the middle, or at the beginning and the end. And I had people crying in the aisles. Because part of that story was really sad. And then they were crying with a bit of joy with me, support. And I rocked. And how do I know I rocked? Because they told me so. They wrote little notes to me saying, you moved me. It was awesome. And I also knew because I went back to one of the ladies who was doing the certifying. And she said, how long have you been doing presentations? Training, teaching people in front of people. And I said, well, I haven't really. And she said, you amaze me. Because it was so moving. You got me. And I thought, ooh, what a piece of advice. Just go do it. Trust in yourself, really. And you see, this got me thinking. Because that really worked. And I use it so many times. But sometimes I forget to use it. And just over the last few weeks, I've been thinking about thinking. And I think I've had trouble with thinking about thinking or actually thinking. Because I sometimes think that I just write these things down while I'm thinking. I'm not really thinking. And I thought, and I even made a little card, a little journal from an item in my journal, a little card to remind me. And I thought of, well, who do I know that does thinking? Who can give me some advice? And Jordan Peterson came to mind. So I had a little chat with him. I had to listen quite a lot because he speaks quite a lot, doesn't he? I had to make sense of what he was saying because he goes a bit deep. But it was all about, again, the same thing. Just do it. But go for it in a way of excellence. And the thing is, doing things with intention, to me, is excellence. And excellence isn't the thing that you just do one time. It's like a way of life, a way of living. And it's foundational, I guess. It's what you do repeatedly. And it's your own personal level of excellence, I guess. But it just got me thinking, how can I be that excellent thinker? Well, I can think of the way he does it. Set my intention. He talks about setting your intention. And when you have an intention, you will get confidence. I remember him saying that. If you want confidence, it's not in the result, it's in your intention. Because when you intend to do something, you get confident in doing it or finding a way to do it. You have that belief. I've got this. So then I started thinking, and the thinking really started coming in like good uns. So what is blooming excellence? We say it's foundational, and it's a thing that you don't do just once, one time. It's a way of life, way of living. So what is excellence? Well, I go back to the 5 keys to success. The 5th key, being excellence, a psychology and physiology of excellence. Whoa. Thought, well, I've had that in front of me all this time. 5 keys to success. I'm going to do a hypnosis track about that. But the thing is, a psychology and physiology of excellence. What you think of, how you act, how you move, all that stuff, followed by act as if. So it did get me to think again. Going back to the people who I look up to for thinking. Jordan Peterson and also Ryan Holiday came to mind. He is a stoic thinker. And I thought, just like my chat with Richard Bandler, who wasn't there, but we had that chat, I can speak again to Jordan Peterson, Ryan Holiday, even though they're not there. But I can find their mindset. In fact, I can imagine their mindset and then get to adapt it, because I'm not them and they're not me, but that information, just bringing all those things together and go, how can I adapt this? How can I evolve it to be me? And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. Because as I think, and I did it this morning, I just thought for a moment, what advice would Jordan Peterson give me while I'm thinking about this particular thing? And it was just so simple. Intend to think of the answer. Intend to find the answer. And in some ways, that's what I'm going to be doing now. Following my journal. The thoughts I have in my journal into what I want to do, and then really take this as a process, because it is a process of perceptual positions, but just asking and seeking advice. Yes, I know you're going to say, but Paul, they weren't there. They weren't bloody there, were they? No, but something in me, the things I've seen, the things I've read, things I've listened to, I've got it. And it's like, to me, I guess the real thing is you are finding what you already know that you forgot you knew, but you do know that. And it's just a matter of accessing it. And that was just me thinking, getting into a way of thinking, because it's made me a better thinker. Weird that it is, because they weren't there. But I found something I already knew. I know Ryan Holiday has a process of doing stuff. And I'm thinking about, well, how can I adapt that? And it's just learning to find out the excellence of others and how can you adapt it. It's modeling, I guess. But this is a different way of modeling, because it's not just modeling and watching people. It's actually trying to get into a mindset that aren't there. You ought to try it. Just ask a question and see what conversations you can get back at. But the thing is, a question to you. What about you? What about you? What would you like to do better? Just think, just for a moment, what things do you do that you like to do better? Now, this is not new stuff, but what would you like to do better? And as you think of that, who do you know? Who do you know that you respect? And respect for doing that thing that you want to do better, because you might not like some of their thoughts or ideals and the way they hold themselves, but you might just look up to their skill, because we can learn from everyone. And this is dead or alive. Who do you look up to for that skill? Just have a think for a moment. Now just slow this down for a bit, because it's not a rush. I mean, what I found was, in that first Trainers Training story I told you, Richard Bandler came to me just like that. Intuitively, it was the right thing to do. When I thought about thinking, Jordan Peterson came to me just like that. And then Ryan Holiday just crept in behind him. So you will get this intuitively. So don't edit what your thoughts are. And just make a note of them. Just so you know, you don't want to forget this person, do you? And then just imagine, just for a moment, here's what you'd do, I guess. You'd find somewhere quiet, because you don't want people interrupting you on this conversation you might have. But just imagine, if you're sitting or standing, that somewhere opposite you, comfortable distance away, is that person. And you may not see them in 20/20 vision. I found I did, which is quite strange because it was if they were there. Now, I think that was in some ways because both of those things, one is a trainer's training and one is the thinking. It was so important and it is so important to me that when I thought of that person, they just jumped with crystal clear clarity. But even if it's down to just an awareness of that person is in front of you, you don't see them, but you're just aware of their presence. And then just ask them. Ask them, well, first of all, what you want to know. But one of the questions might be, how can I act as if I had those skills, the ones I'm looking for? What would be the one thing that I put into my mind so I can act as if with a psychology and physiology of excellence? And then you listen. And you listen with all your senses. And that means listening auditory, to sounds, to voices, to words, kinesthetically, to feelings. Maybe a memory comes up. Or maybe there's just a word on the tip of your tongue, a sentence. And whatever it is, just go with it. Think about it. And what you could do, I just thought about this, because you don't want to take things on just blankly on board, because I don't like doing that. You say, oh, just jump into this. You get this information. And then just imagine over there, in a different place, another you, doing exactly that thing that's been suggested. That you over there is acting as if they have that skill. Notice them. Notice how they walk, they talk, their physiology, their psychology, their mindset. What positive belief would they have about themselves? And notice if you like it. Because you have to like it, don't you? And then imagine them just walking back into you so you get that learning. And the whole point of this is when you open your eyes and you finish this, you have to do it in real life, because there's no point in knowing any of this or having this wonderful bit of information and not doing it, because the intellectual side is worth nothing without the doing. It's walking the walk, not just listening to the talk or even talking the talk. I have so many people who ask me to come on this podcast to do stuff, and then when we actually get down to the nitty-gritty, they actually didn't. But they wanted to do it a very easy way that made it a win-win for them and not much for me, and they didn't really want to bother when it came down to it. But you have to walk the walk. And I think you'll find when you just take the little bit of information you got and put it into real life, using your body, using your thoughts, your mindset, your positive beliefs, things will change when you act as if. It's incredible. I just know acting as if. It's not faking it till you're making it, because that is BS. This is not a fake. We are accessing the resources inside us that we didn't know we had. And then noticing the success that we have with it. Because at the end of the day, it is you coming out. We are accessing the skills that you've already got. You just didn't know it, or you just didn't get into accessing them and using them. And once you do it more and more, you can ask more questions of different people, or things will just come to mind. And you just start doing things differently. Just being, we're really finding our true voice, I guess. Showing up. We've got that thing about showing up. And hopefully my little sharing of my little personal stuff, it's not deeply personal, but it's weirdly personal, I guess. It's a little bit different. But because I think sometimes it is different, it suddenly becomes, oh, I can do that too. And it's simple. We know that in simplicity, there's genius. And because of this, I think, in a big generality, anything is possible with this process of finding the information we need to model others and bring the skills out on ourselves. Okay, not everything is possible, but I think if you intend to get that result, it's possible. When we just adapt stuff, We're finding our own ways. So we're not being a copycat. We're asking for advice. And it's just weird. If you've seen these people, read about these people, you've got it inside you, but you just got to access it. And it's just a lovely, simple process of accessing it. So play around with it. Play around and see the things that you can do better or you want to do better. And just notice what advice you get. And then go for it. Using that psychology and physiology of excellence. And then know that it's not a one-time thing. It's a way of living. Living with excellence. Doing your best, I guess. Stretching to do a little bit better. That's excellence, isn't it? Striving to be the best you. That's excellence. And when you do this, I think you'll find good old serendipity and coincidence comes and smacks you between the eyes because more opportunities come your way. People start recognizing your skills. People will start giving you things to stretch you as well. And you'll stretch yourself. Or you'll find and take those opportunities that you wouldn't normally take because you now know you can find the results and the resources that you need. And work from this and learn from this. I know it's a bit weird. But we're like a bit of weird occasionally. So just muse about this and see, try it. Don't try, do it. Do it once or twice. And just notice how much it changes you. Asking that question. Asking for advice. Asking how you can act as if. With the psychology and physiology of excellence. And then notice the difference. And then when you do, I'd love to hear about your results. And if there's anything that you find was blocking you, I'd love to hear that too. Because sometimes we get these limiting beliefs that, that imposter syndrome or stuff like that. I'm not good enough. You can get that advice, but you just don't follow through sometimes because you've got that limiting belief. And then we can work on that. You let me know what it is. Email me, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Let me know. We'll work out a process. We'll adapt this process maybe, or find another, or create another. And then we'll put it out there. And it's all anonymous, of course. And we'll just go and we'll rock. We'll rock. Please share this with everyone. You know I say that. Please share. If you want to leave a nice review somewhere, that would be good too. But sharing this so people get to just know more. We're sharing the learnings and it's up to them to take hold of them, grasp them and walk the walk. But they can't walk the walk until they hear the talk. And that's what we do here. And then we go do it, which is what I'm doing. Because I could have sat and listened to this or thought about it and not shared it with you. Kept it to myself. But what good would that do? And if it helps you, I'm stoked. Because that'll be awesome. So please share those golden nuggets with everyone you know. And me. And when you do, you're going to know even more, or know what you know even more richer. Because that's what happens when you share things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit different. Hopefully it was communicated in a way that made a bit of sense. I think I lost it in the middle, but hopefully it made a lot of sense. And you get to achieve all that you dream of. And have a bit of fun on the way. Have more fun than you can stand on the way. So till next time, my friend, live with as much passion as you can. Enjoyment and joy. Because it's time to fly.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Cloughie. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.